not something to be ashamed of. I think I've learned so much recently. It's respecting yourself. Like, I've been thinking a lot about that, and I'm like, why should I always, their feelings are their business? Letting go of control does not mean just so that I feel like I'm prepared if something happens. And I've really struggled with that, and that's something that my therapist has pointed out. Take my energy a bit too much, but you will feel it when it happens. Becoming a better version of myself in the sense that, hey guys, so today I wanted to do a video all about therapy. It's something I'm very open about. I talk about my journey a lot. I think I've done at least 2 or 3 videos about it so far. It's something I'm very open about because, first of all, I think it's something that is not available to everyone because it's so freaking expensive. And I'm very lucky that I live in a city where it's not as expensive as it could be in a bigger city. Like, I know that in Paris, it's close to 100 euros an hour or something like that, or 45 minutes even, probably. It's quite crazy. And I think just being open about, first of all, what I've learned could help other people, but also could probably help you make the move if it's something that scares you, but could be very beneficial for you. So that's why I'm so open. Also, it's not something to be ashamed of. I think, in my opinion, everyone should go to therapy at some point in their life, just because you have so much to learn about yourself, things that you don't necessarily notice, or things that you would not even think about questioning, like your way of doing things, your way of reacting to things. And therapy has been incredibly helpful for me. And I was thinking yesterday that I have my therapy session tomorrow, and I've learned so much recently. In the past, I would say like 3 months, I've really noticed an accelerated shift in how I think, how I react about certain topics. And I just thought I would share them with you because they've been incredibly helpful. So let's jump right in. The first one that really came to my mind so quickly was setting boundaries and saying no is not disrespecting the other person or other people. It's respecting yourself. And for some reason, that's something I've always had a really hard time with. I feel guilty whenever I set boundaries and whenever I'm saying no to someone, or if I feel like a certain boundary will hurt someone's feelings. I tend to kind of think like, yeah, maybe it's fine, you know, we'll go with what that person wanted to do. Why? Like, I've been thinking a lot about that, and I'm like, why should I always try to respect other people's boundaries and their wishes, but not have them respect mine and just set mine and just be like, that's how it is and that's how I want things to go. And if you do not want to apply that or to respect that, that's on you. And I've noticed recently that I've been so much better, like so much better at setting my own boundaries and having people respect them and care a little bit less about other people's feelings regarding that situation. I mean, I'm an empath, so I feel other people's feelings as if they're my own sometimes, which has its pros and cons. But in those situations, that's definitely a con, because I'm like, oh, that's how they're feeling, that's how maybe I've hurt them in a way. But like my therapist told me so many times, their feelings are their business. And if at the end of the day that boundary and that decision is good for me, it's not about me to kind of think about the other person. And I've been very proud of that because I've been struggling with that for a long time. The other one, which I think I've mentioned so many times, letting go of control does not mean that the worst will happen because you won't have prepared for it. I don't know why I do that. I think it's anxiety, probably. I always kind of picture every scenario that could happen and always picture the worst one, just so that I feel like I'm prepared if something happens. And that's so silly to do, because at the end of the day, if you prepare for something horrible, you suffer twice if it happens. And that's really something that I've had to kind of come to terms with, of letting go of control and just be like, what will happen will happen. And some days it's harder than others, especially like anxiety days or if I'm tired. But it's so important for me because I tend to kind of work myself up for scenarios that that don't always happen, and when they happen, I usually know how to react, how to be in that situation, and at the end of the day, everything's fine. So why prepare for the worst if I know that I'm able to react if it happens? One that is so crazy for me is that when I have to make a decision and it's between one road or the other, I always kind of have a feeling towards one of the two, but I never find it easy to be like, trust your gut because it knows, and just choose it. Like, you know, choose it. I was seeing a specific doctor and I was talking with my therapist and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I should see them anymore because I feel like it hurts my mental health. But on the other side, I'm like, will I be able to manage this on my own? But I've learned so much about myself and how to treat that I think I can, but yeah, I just don't know. And she let me finish that sentence and we were like in quiet for a bit, and after like 10 seconds I was like, yeah, so I do know what decision to make, right? And she smiled at me and I was like, I don't know why I do that. Why when I have a feeling about something I just don't listen to myself, because I just know what I want to do, so just choose that road. The next one is quite a hard one for me to kind of accept, but it's fine. It's that when I'm taking care of myself, at the end of the day, I'm taking care of other people. If my glass is full, I'll be able to help other people pour water into their own cup. Or if mine is overflowing, I'll be able to pour some of my water into your glass. And I don't know if it's because I'm an empath, but I'm a big sister, or if it's just like who I am. I'm usually the mother of a group. I tend to kind of care for people first and not for me. And that's something that I've done for 27 plus years, even 28 probably, because I'm turning 29 this year. And I've really struggled with that. And that's something that my therapist has pointed out so many times. She's like, you're caring about the other person first without thinking about you, and that's not good, because it means that you're the one suffering every single time and you're the one helping other people every single time. But who's helping you at the end of the day? You have to take care of yourself first so that you can be there for other people at the end of the day. And it's really something that I've learned to do a bit more, and to kind of take my distances with people who kind of take my energy a bit too much, and I'm like, I just have to take my time for that, some time for myself, and then I'll be able to be there for you. And yeah, it's been a hard one to come to terms with because I feel selfish, which is stupid plus, but I feel like it's one that I've done a lot of progress on, but I do feel like I still have a lot of work to do. And the last one is that changing mental patterns is a job in itself, and it's not going to happen overnight. It takes work, it takes time, but you will feel it when it happens. And it's such a beautiful feeling when you're like, wow, it's just like a process in itself, and you will feel it when it happens, when you get that shift in your mind, like, whoa, I would not have reacted that way a few months ago. I think that's really something to remember if you are going to therapy or if you're working on your mental health on your own because you cannot afford to go or you haven't really made the jump just yet, is that things take time. And the way your brain works is that you create kind of shortcuts in your mind, and so working on changing those shortcuts or taking them off just so that you can have a reasoning of thinking that's a bit more logical, a bit less about like your feels or your automatic reactions, it's going to take time and it won't happen overnight. I've been going to therapy for 2.5 years right now, and I can tell that going to therapy has helped so much. And I was talking about it with my mother a few months ago, and I was like, I can tell that my therapist has helped me so much becoming a better version of myself, in the sense that I feel healthier in the way that I think, the way that I react, how I process my thoughts as well, especially around anxiety or confrontational conversations or topics that have been difficult for me for a long time. And I've noticed that there are so many changes around that for me, and I've been so grateful to my therapist. And the past few times that I've gone, I was struggling a bit with something, and throughout the session she doesn't really tell me what to do. She kind of helps me figure things out, but will never point out the solution. She waits for me to kind of think about it on my own, and because I think she trusts that I know at the end of the day what I should do, how I should react. And if it's just that, she she won't help. If it's more about helping me kind of understand why some people act the way they do or certain situations, she will really help me to kind of understand, pinpoint, kind of put words on what's going on. But for finding solutions, I'm on my own. You're on your own, kid. I've really noticed that the past few sessions I've been talking to her about a few things that have been going on, and I found the solution so much quicker than I usually would. And she always pointed out at the end of the session, like, you've made such changes in your life that now you're able to understand so much more quickly what's going on. And she really pointed out so many times, do you realize that the way you're reacting right now is really not the same way you would have reacted before, and that at the end of the day you really have implemented what we've talked about for so long. You know what to do when you're not feeling great. I've told her that I've been really turning to journaling whenever I feel like there's a lot going on in my mind, which before would kind of scare me a bit or would not be something I would think about doing. And even regarding situations with other people, she's really pointed out that I've been affirming myself more, and I've been putting the boundaries that needed to be put, and I've been standing my ground whenever I could tell that someone was kind of trying to kind of move the boundary a little bit in their favor. And I really love that because I can feel in my mind that something's shifting, but it's so nice to hear it from a professional, from someone who's been working with me on my mind for 2.5 years, to just have her say, you're doing great and just keep going. And yes, it's difficult. Yes, you will have some ebbs and flow like with everything, but at the end of the day, you're improving and you're doing great. So just a reminder, it takes time and it's completely okay, and you're doing the best that you can. Just remember that. So I hope this was helpful, and I would love for you to kind of share in the comments a few things that you've learned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.